Hi everyone, welcome to week 1 of EDU110, Introduction to Early Childhood. I'm Dr. Andrea Brunel and I'll be your instructor for the next 6 weeks. It's really nice to see some familiar faces, and also I'm really excited to meet all of you that I haven't had in class before. So welcome. So let's jump right in. In week 1, if you look at the week 1 overview and learning materials, and you scroll down, you're going to find a table of contents. In it is going to be all the learning materials you need for the week. Before I start that, there is an optional resource. It's called Developmentally Appropriate Practice. It is a publication by the National Association for the Education of Young Children that is an optional resource. If you're in the field of early childhood, I would really strongly encourage you to get a copy. It's what I consider to be the early childhood Bible, and to have a copy to refer back to can be invaluable. If you're not a member of NAEYC, or Massachusetts, it's referred to as NIAC, the rest of the country calls it NACY, don't know why. I believe there is a basic membership. It's a digital membership that's only $30 a year, and you can deduct it as an expense for teaching or as a student, I believe. Not an accountant, so that's just what I think. But I would encourage you to get a hold of a copy, and I think you'll be very happy that you have it. Anyhow, not being paid by NAUIC, but just thought you'd want to know about that resource. And you will notice in optional resources, it will list what chapters to look at that work with, that really support the materials that I'm providing for you. So for this week, you're going to read about what early childhood education is and about some issues that affect early childhood education. I'm going to ask you to watch 2 Harvard Center for the Developing Child videos, one called Brain Hero, one about building brain architecture, and then have you explore some websites. There's going to be some information about DAP, Developmentally Appropriate Practice, on the NIAC website, looking at the Harvard Center for the Developing Child, and then looking at the websites for early learning standards and for learning guidelines for infants and toddlers. If you're not a Massachusetts teacher, make sure you look up the standards for your state. If you're in Connecticut and you have a hard time finding anything, just shoot me a message in Canvas and I will send you the links. And then again, there is that optional reading in the DAP, the introduction, this week. So let's jump right into the assignments. Our first assignment this week is a discussion, and I'm going to ask that you introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, and talk about what you know, what you already knew, what you learned reading some of those introductory materials, and what you want to learn during this semester as it relates to your field of study. So if you're taking this class as an elective and you're not an early childhood person, how does this information relate to your field of study? And then ask a couple of questions for your peers. I'm going to ask you a favor. I know that the initial post to the discussion board is not due until Thursday at midnight. The earlier you post in the week, when you are able to, the more robust our discussions can be. So if you can post before Thursday night, that would be great. Also, please don't save all of your responses to your peers for Saturday evening or late Saturday afternoon. It makes it really hard to have that sort of rich back and forth with your classmates if everybody just posts everything all at once at the end. And also remember to use references and in-text citations. That's especially important for your initial response to the prompt, so I can see where you're making connections to the learning materials. And then on to our first assignment. You're going to go to the NAOIC website, the Harvard Center for the Developing Child website, or ECLIC, which is the Early Childhood Learning and Knowledge Center that's been developed by Health and Human Services for Head Start. Awesome website. And I want you to, 1, go into the announcements, and you're going to see there's a link to a Padlet for week 1. You're going to choose a summary of a resource in one of those 3 websites that I've given you, and you're going to put that in the Padlet. You're also going to do some research on your own and find something that addresses a contemporary or critical issue in the field of early childhood from someplace other than NIAC, Harvard Center for the Developing Child, and ECLIC, and also post that on the Padlet. Then you're going to comment on at least 2 of your classmates' resources that they posted. If you haven't used Padlet, it's pretty easy. You just click on the plus side on the bottom right hand corner. It will let you create a new section and you can enter your information. In the announcement, I did give you a screenshot of a sample from another class. So I hope that helps. If you haven't used Padlet before, there is a guide. You can click on it at the bottom of the assignment about how do I add a post to Padlet so you can get started. Very, very important. Please take screenshots of all of your posts. They should have their name on it, and use those to upload to Canvas so I can give you a grade for the assignment. Otherwise, I think you should be all set for week 1. I'm really looking forward to learning with you for the next 6 weeks. And if you have any questions or you run into any issues, please contact me through Canvas. If you don't hear back from me within 24 hours, resend it. I typically will get back to people within the hour, 2 at most. So if it's gone 24 hours, I've had a few correspondence through Canvas sort of evaporate. So send it to me again. Let's make sure that nothing happened to your message. The other thing to remind you of is make sure that you are arranging for your observation. There is an announcement about that with more information. It's really important that you get that done way at the beginning of class. So if you run into any issues with where you're doing the observation, you have some time to iron it out. If you're in a classroom, you shouldn't do your observation in your own classroom, but you can do it in a colleague's classroom. Hope that helps. And also, there are no delayed assignments allowed per university policy in week 1. So make sure you get everything handed in by midnight on Saturday. After this week, if you are having some issues, let me know and let's work out how we can get your assignments in. If you are late, and it does happen, stuff does happen, know that you have a week beyond when the due date is to hand in your assignment, and I'll still accept it. There will be a 10% per day deduction for a late assignment, though. So you have that whole week extra to get it in for partial credit. And also, just to keep in mind, there are absolutely no late assignments accepted in week 7 because I have a real time crunch to get all of your grades into the registrar's office. So I think that's it for my housekeeping. Looking forward to getting to know all of you a little bit better, and I hope you enjoy week 1. Take care.